What's up, everybody? Rob here. So this is just a real quick current events video. It's completely unscripted. I'm just, giving my opinions on a particular issue. I have another video coming out shortly. It's history related. So if you're looking forward to that, it will be coming out in the very near future. All right. So unless you've been living under a rock for the past couple of weeks, I'm sure you've all heard about the Jussie Smollett hate crime that apparently happened. I think it was January 29th. I'm not going to go into the details of it. Apparently, though, in downtown Chicago at 2 a.m., when it's negative 28 degrees outside, there were some white supremacists wearing MAGA hats, and they just happened to stumble into this guy here. Know that he was a gay actor from that TV show Empire, which I've never seen, or I knew it exists, but I've never seen or heard it before. But they knew this guy was there. He was a gay actor from that TV show, and they started beating him up. They splashed bleach on him, used all sorts of homophobic and racist slurs against him, and said, this is MAGA country, because when I think MAGA country, the first thing that pops in my mind is downtown Chicago. And then they put a noose around his neck made from a clothesline, and, the police got involved, and there was a whole big issue of it. Now, anybody with more than 3 brain cells to rub together can see the massive inconsistencies here, and the inconsistencies in his story. And, it turns out that now this is all a hoax. And actually, the 2 white supremacists were a couple of Nigerian bodybuilders that this guy, apparently, as far as I can tell, this is breaking information. I don't know how true it is, so a little bit of a caveat there. But apparently he hired them to fake this attack on him. Like, Smollett did this for publicity or something. I'm not sure what the motive is, but I'll speculate on that in a little bit. But point is, this whole thing was a giant fabrication. But that didn't stop our media from just absolutely running with this story. Now, I'm hesitant to use the term fake news because that's usually just used to describe news that somebody just doesn't want to hear or that they don't agree with. But this is fake news. And the media is just absolutely doing a horrifyingly bad job of, doing reporting and basically just even most rudimentary fact checking. Now, I'm going to be the first to admit the right wing has more than its share of fake news, too. So don't think this is, completely... So don't think this is me just excusing anything that happens on the right and just, hammering on the left. But my God, people, the left-wing media, and that's most of the mainstream media, let's just be honest, like CNN, they claim to be mainstream and unbiased. Yeah, BS. But I'm like, they are really just screwing up in the past couple of weeks, basically since since the new year. Look, we're like mid-February right now, and they've already screwed up so many different stories. You have, first off, you have, this is a minor one, but you have AOC dancing, and the conservatives were just, appalled at a young woman dancing. It's like, no, nobody cared. No, it's like one guy cared, and his Twitter handle was MAGA Patriot 1776 or something like that, and, he was ratioed so bad by other conservatives that he had to delete his account. Beyond that, nobody cared. Not a single prominent conservative gave a single iota of concern about that. But the media, conservatives pounce. Then you got the big one, the Covington story, where you have the media portrayed it as a bunch of MAGA-hatted white supremacist high school kids harassing a poor Native American elder Vietnam veteran. Turns out that every single aspect of that story was untrue. That, you had the black Israelites, they're harassing them first, and then you got this guy showing up there who, by the way, was in the Marines during the Vietnam era, never actually went to Vietnam, and was actually, I think he was discharged. I'm not sure about that, so don't quote me on it. But still, he comes up to them, and he starts banging a drum in this kid's face, and the kid just sits there, smiling uncomfortably. Oh, that's the smirk of white supremacy, and look how horrible. No. And then, if you look at any sort of, camera angles for more than 10 seconds before or after that one famous clip, it turns out that no, that's not what happened at all. These kids actually were completely innocent in all this, and you got the media again screwing up the job because it fit the narrative. And once again, we have another story here that just fit the narrative perfectly. Ben Shapiro tweeted out yesterday, if a story is too good to fit or if a story fits the narrative too perfectly, it's probably just made up. Or I'm paraphrasing here, but if it fits everything so perfectly. So here in this particular case, you got a black gay guy, so very high up on the progressive stack. He was attacked by MAGA hat wearing white supremacist homophobes. It's just it's so perfect. It fits right into the narrative that America is this most racist, bigoted, homophobic, horrible nation on the planet. And once again, it's fake news. It's not true. So when last I looked, apparently Smollett actually hired the guys to stage this crime on him. So I don't know why. I mean, I don't know what's going on in Smollett's head, but I have no idea what he's thinking. But apparently, it's so that he could get attention for this, and he can tap into that the righteous indignation that people, especially people on the left, are feeling about Trump's America being so absolutely oppressive and horrible. The thing is, though, like if you see the meme right here, it's like it's just not there. There's not that level of bigotry in the United States. Yes, there are bigots in the United States. There are white racists and white supremacists. These people absolutely do exist. But it's so blown out of proportion by the media. Like, the Unite the Right rally back in, last June, there were more people covering the event than actually participated in the event. Okay, it's like, it's a non-thing. There was like 300 people total that showed up as part of that white supremacist rally. There were over 7,000 people going to BronyCon, as far as if I remember that correctly. Okay, we got more bronies than white supremacists in this country, which is actually kind of terrifying in its own way. And now that this particular hoax, though, has been revealed as being a hoax, I can tell you right now, I'm calling it right now, you can quote me on this. This is going to be played up as, I'm bringing attention to this massive issue. Like, hate crimes happen all the time in this country, and this is just, this is my way of, shedding light on this horrible issue and advocating for this issue. I guarantee you that's where it's going to go. Now, the thing is, why would you have to do that? Because this is usually the common refrain whenever something like this happens. I'm bringing attention to this horrible issue. But if you have to make it up, how bad is the issue? Why not just point to a real event? If these things are as rampant as, people are making out to be, there should be plenty to choose from. Okay, advocate for those, and actually and I'm very serious on this. Go advocate for these horrible hate crimes. The fact that you have to make it up shows me that, I'm not saying hate crimes don't happen, but it's probably not as big a deal as you're making it out to be. Like, you got, virtue signaling celebrities. Ellen Page was on one of the late night shows talking about how this is Pence's America and like Trump is responsible and Mike Pence is responsible for all this stuff. And you got everybody else, all the Twitter blue check marks, virtue signaling about how horrifying it is to live in Trump's, and they have to this is the plight that Black people and gay people have to live in Trump's America. Well, show me those examples. I'm serious. I want to fight racism and sexism with you, but now because of jabronis like this guy here, I can't take these things seriously. As soon as I hear about a hate crime, I'm just going to be rolling my eyes. Oh, it's probably a bunch of Nigerian guys out there again. And that just brings up another issue. Why do hate crimes even exist? Like, as a legal statute, why do hate crimes exist? If I go up to somebody and I punch the guy in the face, why I punched him is really not relevant. The crime is the fact that I punched the guy. Whether I did because I don't like the guy's skin color or sexuality or because he just happened to be standing there at that moment, it really doesn't matter. The point is I punched a guy. So the idea of a hate crime and that, punishments are going to be worse based on who you did it to, that's just makes no sense. Just punish the person for the crime. That's just, a brief aside on my part. But, I just never understood. Like, the crime is assault, the crime is murder, the crime is battery, the crime is whatever it is. Why you did it really doesn't concern me. I don't think it should concern anybody, the motivations behind it. It's just, it's too, how do you prove motivation? It's ridiculous, but that's neither here nor there. But, I mean, the media just couldn't wait to jump on this story and just run with it about, how evil America is and how horrible America is. It's like, okay, a little bit of journalistic 101 here, and this is me, not a journalist. There's some little bit of fact checking, just a tiny bit of fact checking. Like, look into what's going on here. Just sit on it. Now, I know you in this era of instant communication and a 24-hour news cycle, you got to be like the first on there to get those extra clicks or whatever it is. But can you maybe just sit on it for a little while, let some facts come out, let the police, make some statements, let's go through official stuff before immediately jumping to the, oh my God, this is absolutely true without, hesitation. Let's not, have any credulity at all. Let's not, do any sort of fact checking or anything like that. Come on, people. This story just fit the narrative so utterly perfectly. I mean, it just fit the narrative of Trump supporters bad, white people bad, Black people, gay people, victims of horrible bigotry in society. It's just rampant every time they step outside their doors. They're just, constantly under attack. And this just fit that narrative so perfectly that they just didn't even bother to do any basic research into what's going on here. There's no journalistic rigor going on here. It's just, we gotta push the story. We gotta push the story. And this is why nobody trusts the media anymore. And you shouldn't trust the media because they are completely untrustworthy. I mean, with this story in particular, I mean, just like I just heard about like 5 seconds worth of thought can tell you like something's not up here. Like, wait, you're telling me that a bunch of white supremacists were walking around in Chicago in negative 20-degree temperature with a makeshift noose, which they couldn't even tie properly, apparently, and bleach, looking to attack this guy because they knew somehow they used homophobic slurs on this guy. They apparently knew that this guy was gay. So unless he was like wearing a gay pride shirt or something like that, was just, sashaying his way through the streets of Chicago, which I find very hard to believe. How would you even know he was gay? Which, okay, that makes no sense. But they're doing this, again, in negative 20-degree temperature at 2 in the morning in downtown Chicago, which is really like home of tons of white supremacists live in, downtown. Yeah. Oh, this is MAGA country. They apparently shouted to this guy, at this guy. It's like, really, in what universe is downtown Chicago MAGA country? So, like, it's so obvious that there's something going on here right from the very beginning, but they just ran with it anyway because it's 100% about the message. It's about the narrative. It's not about reporting the news. It's not about, reporting about what's going on in the world. It's all 100% about the narrative. And this is really tragic, too, because this is absolutely vital for our society. As a democratically elected republic, accurate information, especially about politics and our leaders, is vital for the survival of our nation, of our political system. I mean, since we are, yes, we are a republic here in the U.S., but we are democratically elected, and as such, it is incumbent on the average person to be well informed about what's going on in the world so they can keep their leaders, their elected officials, they can keep them accountable. They can make informed choices during elections and, all that. At one point, journalism and the media was described as an unofficial fourth branch of government. That's how important it is. So when they're spending their time advocating for a particular cause, one way or another, when it's blatantly false, it completely undermines any trust we can have in them, and it completely undermines our political system as a whole, which I don't want to go too conspiratorial here, but it seems that a lot of people wouldn't mind that because they find our system to be inherently oppressive anyway, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, just the whole thing is, completely undermining they're undermining themselves here. I guess they're just going to have to learn how to code or something. So yeah, to sum up everything here, the whole thing is just utterly ridiculous. Smollett should be ashamed of himself for perpetuating this sort of thing. The media should be ashamed of itself for just running with the story without any hint of credulity here. And all they're doing is undermining themselves because, whenever there's going to be another hate crime, we're all just going to look at it and go, yeah, sure. We're going to roll our eyes and, not even begin to believe them. So they're actually just hurting themselves. But apparently they don't care because narrative. In any case, that's it for this video. Just something I threw together real quick, kind of rambly. I'm apologizing for that, but you know how I am. In any case, please hit the like and subscribe button. More videos from me coming out whenever I get around to it, or when more stupidity happens, which, to be perfectly honest, I can't be too far away in the future. So hit the like and subscribe button, and have a good day. Or don't have a good day. You're adults. Have any kind of day you want. See you later.